All right, welcome to our first podcast. I have Hunter here. He has been a trainer with me for the past 6 years, I think, right? Around six.
Going on 6 years.
Here at Crosswhite Fitness, and today we're going to be talking about the 3 lies in the fitness industry.
3 of the many.
3 of the many. That was actually hard to narrow down because I was going through this and I was trying to figure out which 3, and I'm telling you, I came up with like 10. And
it's probably more.
Yeah, probably more than that.
It's a lot.
And I feel like every month they add something to the list. The other day I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about protein being the enemy of the fitness industry to some degree, and it's always, it goes through fat, carbohydrates. This is just nutrition, not even exercises. But every month I'm hearing something and it makes me cringe. And I don't know, I try to pick the top 3, but
yeah. And the problem is with that, it gets passed on to clients. Clients see it, so we get questions every day about, I saw this online, and is this true? Is this not true? So it's like I feel like it's a constant battle that we have to deal with, is like debunking these myths, and kind of getting our clients in the right path. So
yeah, and then it takes a whole session to get them back on track of explaining like, hey, no, everything you watch on YouTube is not right. The other thing I've noticed too, we'll get to this first line in a second, but the other thing I've noticed is all these different journals or podcasts or people speaking online. They might be a scientific research journalist or a brain surgeon or whatever it may be, and it doesn't mean that they work with clientele every day.
No.
And they don't see the results themselves. They might work on rats for 20 years and they all of a sudden think that they're the expert, and they are to some degree, but it doesn't mean they see the results in people that we see.
Yeah, there's always like obviously scientific breakthroughs and new studies come out, but I feel like it always eventually like just circles back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of keeping things simple for the general population. Like obviously, if you're going to different levels with fitness, if you're a marathoner or ultra competitive powerlifter or something like that, like you're gonna need to do a lot of research. But if you're trying to just get in shape and be like just on a day-to-day basis, it's really not so. It's not that difficult, and people tend to overcomplicate things. So I think that's where a lot of people tend to do is overcomplicate things, and it's really pretty simple.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too over the years, and just recently it's just getting frustrating because the last 3 years has been so much worse than the first 17 of my training career.
I think it's because it's the rise of the social media thing. I think it's the biggest thing. Even from when I started when I started working out 10 years ago, because I guess I'm part of this. I'm a little younger than you, and I'm part of this newer like Instagram social media age. And I've seen a switch in this. Like when I started training, all you saw like some people on Instagram, but the only people making fitness content were people that actually knew what they were doing, bodybuilders, powerlifters, stuff like that, or people that have been working for a while. Now you get these kids, or I call them kids, but like people that come into the industry, they're
entertainers.
Yeah, they work out for or they work out for a year, they get some results, and they think what they do is perfect, and they read something online, they're like, well, this worked for me, and they realize it's not everything. So yeah, there's just this flood of like information online, which and you have to like decipher it, and that's what's hard. It's hard to decipher what is true and what's not, because I mean probably 85% of the stuff you see on social media is either like just for clicks or people that are just misguided or they're trying to sell something to somebody. It's a lot of stuff to sift through, and most of the time you don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
Like if you're just trying to go on Instagram and get some tips, you might get 10 videos on one topic and they all say 10 different things.
And exercises are different. Like you could go on there, and we do it sometimes. We see someone do an exercise. We're like, oh, we haven't seen that before. And how to do a landmine squat like that, specifically. It takes a lot of time out of it, but it doesn't mean that is the new best exercise. You get back to the basics of when Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, some of the fitness women that they did the basic lifts, and they look better than a lot of the people do today. So I think it applies to everything, but more nutrition, I would say, than anything. It's every day. Now they do the spoofs on, eating bananas are bad today, they're good tomorrow. Eggs are bad today, they're good tomorrow. Every food that you go through, and there's a guy on Instagram I saw that was making fun of that. So he started eating something, he would see a clip, and he would spit it out, and he ate something else. And broccoli is bad now, so it's constant. But basically, that's what we want to do, is cut through all of this mumble jumble, garbage that they're putting online. There's so much online, and as the practitioner ourselves of working with the clientele, and then also seeing the research of putting it to to use and seeing does it actually work in our clientele? Are they losing weight? Are they gaining muscle mass? Is it effective for them?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just lab rats.
Yeah.
But that gets us to the first lie, which is losing weight and metabolic training or cardio, I should say. A lot of people think that cardio is the best way to lose weight and lose body fat specifically. That is the number one lie. That was an easy one to choose because you still see women especially, right? They'll get on a treadmill. You do, what's the business that it's basically treadmills and row work? What is that?
Not sure. It's like a new
it's
one?
in the main cities, yeah. And it's been around
Orange
for
Theory? No.
Orange Theory and some of those, right?
Yeah.
So it's all cardio based, really, really light dumbbells, you know, but mainly treadmill running, row erg or something like that.
Yeah.
And these women are burning crazy amounts of calories, but when they step off that treadmill, they stop burning calories. Their metabolism has not changed. They have not built any muscle.
Yeah.
Bone density is relatively the same. They've done studies on that. That's number one that I see all the time of especially women, but guys too. Hey, I want to lose weight. I'm going to start running.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to start doing some form of cardio and nothing else. But what we've seen and what I put to the test years ago when I started was strength training twice a week and then some light cardio in the off days.
Yeah.
You know, you can do interval training of some kind. You can do some sprint work. You can do even just walking in the off days. It's great. You're burning excess calories, but you got to remember you're not going to raise your metabolism that night or the next day by only walking. You step off that treadmill, you're done burning calories.
Exactly.
You're never going to out-eat or outwork, I should say, your food that you're taking in.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to burn calories that way too because you're only taxing one system. So when you're on like a treadmill or something, you're only doing aerobic. So yeah, great for heart health, great for cardio health. It is essential to do, but there's no people send it. People. One thing I noticed with this is people think it's like end all be all, like one or the other. They always think like, okay, if I want to lose weight, I just have to do cardio, like you're saying, or I just have to do strength. Like there's the issue I think we run into is that people don't understand that there's like multiple facets to training. Like you can do both. You don't just have to do one.
Right. Exactly.
So there's so many things you can do with fitness and with exercising. So why limit yourself to one thing? There's no reason to just do cardio or just do strength. You can do both simultaneously almost in some days. And I think that's where people see the best results is when they do both, like you were saying. Do 2 or 3 days of strength training, like strictly strength, and then you add cardio on your off days. So you're working your heart health, but you're also building that lean muscle mass that's going to help boost metabolism, help maintain that weight loss, and burn calories like while you're resting.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And that's what we do with training. You know,
Yeah.
typically it's strength training, intermixed somehow with cardio. And if you lift heavy enough, fast enough, you're going to get cardiovascular effects.
Yeah.
But you're going to burn phosphocreatine, your glycogen reserve, and you're going to ultimately get into a fat reserve at some point. But if you really want to boost metabolism, you got to hit the weights.
Yeah.
You got to have those micro tears on the muscles, or you're never going to establish some kind of dominance over your weight. I like to think of it like cardio should be the seasoning. It's not the main dish.
Yeah.
It's not the meat.
Yeah. That's
right?
how I look
It's
at
a
it.
little seasoning you put on there.
It's like a supplement to everything else.
Yeah. Or you lose weight and you look the exact same because you're losing bone density, you're losing body fat, you're losing muscle mass.
Yeah.
So you get smaller, but you look exactly the same. And a lot of people get into that. Same with, and this is a whole different topic, but it's same with the Ozempic and some of the other things that people just cut calories and it's such a deficit they lose. But once you stop cutting those calories or once you start getting off the treadmill completely, you're going to gain that weight back. You've done nothing to your basal metabolic rate.
Yeah. People get this in their head that they're coming into a fitness routine or they're going into trying to lose weight. They're like, okay, I'm 200 pounds. I know if I get to 180 pounds, I'm going to look the way I want to look. Like, I think people get this thing in their head that, I just need to lose 20 pounds and I know I'll look better. So they get this one thing, like, so they use one tool. They use only strictly weight loss. It's not just fat. They don't track fat loss. They don't track muscle.
Right.
Like you're saying.
Measurements
So they think
like
20.
that, yeah.
They think 20 pounds doesn't matter. Like they think. Some people tend to think that you only burn fat, which is obviously not the case. So they're like, if I lose 20 pounds, I'm losing 20 pounds of fat, guaranteed.
Right.
They don't understand like what it takes to lose fat and like what actually goes into weight loss. So they get this idea in their head of 20 pounds, or say 20 pounds, and then they get to that 180, and they still have fat because they might have been burning muscle mass in the process. So you might have lost
it's 5 to 10.
You might have lost 5 to 10 pounds of muscle,
Right.
You lost 5 pounds of fat, 5 to 10 pounds of fat. So
They
you're
get
gonna
excited.
look. You're gonna look way. You're gonna be that 180, but you're gonna look at yourself and be like, wait, that's not exactly what I thought it would look like.
Yeah.
But if you did it the right way, like we train clients, is we don't just use strictly the scale number, where we use the body scan. We do other measurements of body composition.
Right.
So some people think they need to lose 20 pounds, but
Like,
in
hey,
reality,
your glutes got bigger, your legs got bigger,
Yeah.
your biceps got bigger, but your waist got smaller.
you might lose 10 pounds and
Yeah.
look better. But you put muscle mass on, lost fat, and you'll look better than you ever will at 180
Right.
with no muscle mass built. So I think that's one thing we do a really good job with, and any good trainer will do is get clients out of that rhythm of it's just strictly weight loss, but it's actually like recomping your body.
Exactly.
So understanding muscle mass gain, tracking actual fat loss, not just tracking like a scale weight. So like using different measurements of like a body scan and in-body fat calipers, anything you want to do to track actual fat
DEXA
loss.
scan, something like that.
Yeah, like if you're tracking fat loss, that's important rather than just a sole number on the scale. And if you're if you're doing things the right way, you're gonna lose weight regardless.
Or doing too much or too soon or whatever.
Yeah, you'll know
Yeah.
like if
Only doing weight, not doing the other things. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're like the thing, if you're doing those scans, you'll know where your muscle mass is. So if you'll know, okay, you do it for a month or 2 months, you lose some weight in it, but you see half that weight was muscle mass, you might need to tone back. Like, okay, I'm doing too much.
Right.
I'm eating
Right.
too little calories. I'm not eating enough. I'm like losing weight too fast, where your body's pulling from muscle rather than losing that fat. Because that's the thing, like fat, it takes time to like lose. It's not a fast thing. It's not an end all be all overnight thing. Like it takes some time to actually burn fat off.
Well, people see more results typically. All right, so you get back to cardio. They get on the treadmill, they cut their calories a little bit, they kill the cardio, just every day, whatever it may be, 30 minutes, an hour. They lose so much weight initially because interstitial fluids, within the muscles, the body fat does not necessarily go down. A lot of times it's skinny fat. So the runners, you look at marathon runners, right? They have actually a decent amount of visceral fat a lot of times, and they're lower muscle mass. So it doesn't mean that you're going to burn the fat, like you said, because initially you're going to burn the muscle, you're going to get rid of some of that muscle mass, 20% more dense, 19.8% more dense, I think. Right, Phil? 19.8% muscle more dense than fat?
That's right, Ben.
Is that right?
Yeah,
So, that's the thing is they get this in their mind that like, hey, I'm hitting results really quickly, but then it screws them up 6 months later because their metabolism is even worse off than it is today.
Yeah.
But it's quicker results. But
yeah, they get the fast results and then they run into a wall and then it's that like hamster wheel effect.
Yeah.
Like they get the results fast and then they stall and then they're like, well, this isn't working. Let me just go back to doing what I was doing before. And then that's why people just get in that up down kind of yo-yo effect of gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight.
But that again, we can talk about this for an hour, but that was the first slide. I got to include this because it was, I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
Like what I was saying, you don't have to just do one thing. To have a good solid fitness routine, you can do both. Do weights, prioritize your weights 2-3 days a week, cardio another 2 days a week, and you can build a sustainable fitness routine around
A
that.
lot of strength training, more so than doing the cardio.
Yes,
Cardio.
prioritize the strength,
Exactly.
cardio is supplement.
Exactly. Which leads me to the next one. So lie number 2, we hear this all the time too. Women will get bulky if they work with weights, right?
I hear it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a common first meeting with a female client will most of the time be.
I don't want to get too bulky.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, don't worry, you won't. If that were the case, most teenage boys would be jacked all over the country.
My biggest selling factor on this is that I've been working out for 12 years trying to get too bulky, and I'm still small. So
I think I try to explain that. And
I've been intentionally trying to add muscle mass for 12 years, and it takes
it's
a
a little
long
harder
time.
than what they think it is.
It takes a long time.
Yeah. So I hear it all the time though, but it's just, I can't say it enough that you're not going to get bulky. And some women, obviously, they gain muscle easier than other women. Like,
Yeah,
no doubt about
and
it.
stuff play a role.
But it doesn't mean you're going to look like a Lee Haney or an Arnold Schwarzenegger, I mean, there's a lot. You're working out twice a day. Like even the women, like they compare themselves to women that may look too bulky.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize these women are taking, certain kind of steroids. They're
I was hoping you
working
would
out.
say that because I think that's a huge thing. They don't realize the stuff they're taking.
Yeah, and it might be a mild one. It
Yeah.
might be something that's not really like, some of the guy bodybuilders take or whatever. But they're taking something probably if they look that muscular, that cut up, and they have more muscle mass than than most guys do.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's their goal. Like you see women that are that big, like with striated delts, like big popping veins everywhere. Like they're intentionally trying to do that. Like they didn't just start lifting weights for a year and accidentally ran into being jacked.
Right.
Like it's not. It didn't happen. They didn't start doing 15-pound dumbbell presses on chest and their chest started to pop, or they did 10-pound hammer curls and their veins start popping. Yeah. Like it's not. It's they intentionally have been doing this for years and years and years, and that's how they ended up to where they're at. Like they didn't just act. You don't just run into being jacked.
I wish that was the case.
For me,
I mean, I've been praying for that every night for the past 20 years, but you know, it doesn't happen.
I wish I woke up one day and said, "Dang, I'm too big."
Yeah, I've trained. I think right now about 12 or 15. I can't remember the exact number. Different USA girls, right? And all of them, I've done very similar workout styles. You know, it varies depending on their own body type. You know, their goals, their injuries, things like that. You know, where they're at. Even with like Miss USA compared to Miss America, like there's different variations there. But most of them, I do the weight training more so than any cardio. And we mix it in. You know, we do a hybrid of both to some degree. But none of them have gotten bulky. All of them have looked great. All of them have won a lot of their divisions. I mean, the most recent, Christina, went into the top 16 of Miss USA. She won Miss Virginia. She actually went for Miss Virginia before, didn't win it because of her looks, and she didn't have the body that they were looking for. Worked out with me for a year and then won it. And we did a lot of weights. She didn't look bulky. You can look her up, look her picture up. I mean, she did not look bulky at all. She looked great, and 16.1% body fat I think she was at, so nothing crazy. But that, I mean, it baffles my mind that is still a continued topic of women that think they're going to get bulky.
Yeah, they're like scared of it.
But
another, I think, going even in the sense of like bodybuilding. So there's like the different divisions of bodybuilding, like women's bodybuilding. You look at women's physique and bodybuilding, like there's different divisions. So there's like obviously the bodybuilding division, which yes, they're jacked, they're big, they're trying to get big. But there's all the other ones, like the fitness, the bikini. They all train the same way.
Right.
They're all lifting weights. They're not like the bikini girls aren't stepping on the step. Like they might be doing cardio, but they're not just strictly doing an hour of treadmill every day. They're lifting weights too.
Right.
They're doing heavy squats. They're doing heavy hip thrusts.
So what are you saying? It's mainly diet and supplements more so than the training?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always going to come back to calorie intake. And a topic I was thinking about this before we started. A lot of these women, I think, that start out like clients that we get. How many times have you had a client, like a women client, that has expressed, "Oh, I don't want to get too bulky," but at the same time she's under eating?
Yeah.
Like they're not even eating enough calories to even put muscle mass on. Yep. The biggest thing, I think the biggest issue I run into with female clients is getting them to eat enough protein to actually build muscle.
The protein's at like 40 grams for the day.
Yeah, they tell, we always go back, I tell, make a food log for a week. And then you go through their food log, they have three meals a day, one of them doesn't even have protein in it. It's like a salad or something. And then they have 2 eggs in the morning and 3 ounces of chicken in the evening or something like that, like something basic. I'm like, you're not even eating enough protein to sustain the muscle you already have. How do you think you're going to put enough muscle on to get overly big? Right. I feel like that's a common thing I always run into. I'm like, you don't even eat enough right now to put on muscle.
Well, your organs are going to overtake all of your skeletal muscle. Yeah. So your organs are going to be first priority. So they're going to take, and you know, you can, what is it, 1.2 per kilogram? I think is what they're saying now. It varies all the time.
Women's a little less than men.
And, you know, past that, obviously, you know, your skeletal muscle will take some priority past the organs, but your organs function on protein strictly. And so if you don't take enough, then you're never going to go into any kind of muscle development.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had, in 5 years of doing this, I've never had like a female client start and they were eating like enough protein that I was good with them eating, or too much. I never had a woman come in and say, "Oh, this is what I'm eating." She ended up eating like 200 grams of protein a day. Right. It never happened.
Which even then, it would
you
be
always
fine
have
to.
You always have to boost it up. They're never eating enough to where they can actually be building mass amounts of muscle.
It's always under.
Yeah, and it's always going to be like we said, like it's going to be slower than it is. Even if they are eating enough, it's still going to be a slower process for them than it is for men.
Yeah. So moving on to line number 3, because that was the first 2 that we can. Again, I could talk about both those all day.
For sure.
It gets me wound up a little bit because we deal with it every day. It's frustrating. But line number 3 is you have to feel motivated to work out. And we deal with this a lot too. I think most of the people that come to us, they need a trainer to have the accountability, right? They know that they're not going to be motivated every single day. They get that. We don't deal with this as much because most of them understand it. They put it in practice and say, hey, I need a trainer.
Yeah.
But a lot of people you'll see on Instagram or wherever that are talking about, getting the motivation you need, like that's a bunch of baloney. I mean, you have to be strict. You have to have discipline because there's going to be so many days you're not going to feel motivated to work out.
More times than not.
Yeah, usually not.
More times than not, you're not motivated to work out. You got other stuff going on. Everyone has their own things that to do. You have other responsibilities. Like, for me at least, like more times than not, I'm not motivated to work out. I just know it's what I have to do.
Right.
So and
then you build a habit over time.
Yeah, it's a habitual thing. So yeah, motivation. I mean, there might be something like I don't know what it is for you, but I'd say at this point now, where I've been training for 10, 12 years, like there might be one day a week that I'm like full on motivated, like ready to run through a wall, ready to work out. Most days it's just I'm doing it because I know I have to.
Right. And some days those are your worst workouts. And then other days when you go and you don't feel like going, those are your best workouts. You just never know.
Yeah.
But this whole motivation thing, and it's frustrating to see all over online because there's such a lack of discipline. I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing. I don't feel like I dealt with it as much when we were kids. It was like we did what we had to do. We worked out for sports. We whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But now it's like everything has to be motivationally based.
I think there's a lot that goes into it because I think about this all the time, honestly, with the like motivation and then discipline, self-discipline, like what makes you like tick, stuff like that. For me, and you can build on this too because I know you're really good with getting clients like in a routine and getting them in here, and building off that. I think the Gen Z thing or it's the instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing is, most working out and being fit it's never going to be like an instant gratification thing. Like people don't realize it takes consistent effort over long periods of time, day after day, year after year, to get to where you want to be. And if people don't get it within a month or two, they fall off.
Well, it's the same there.
And then they're looking for that motivation to like get me back in the gym type of thing.
But we see it in the jobs and social media. They try to grow their social media. They don't do it for 3 months and they give up and they don't. They get annoyed or they switch jobs every 3 months. And I'm not pointing out like Gen Z, but I'm just saying I don't remember this being a factor back in the day. It's like we showed up. There was days. Yeah, we had motivational music, but it wasn't the same as today. Like you have to feel motivated. You have to find something that is going to get you to the gym to work out. Like it should be the discipline of knowing you're going to do better for your body and you're going to be a better mother, husband, father, whatever it may be, and just show up every day in, day out.
I was going to ask, so like someone like you that's been working out for a long time, training people for a long time, I think that's good for the audience to hear. Like what is something do you have some things that keep you going? Is there, like what's your purpose for working out? Why do you just keep doing it day in and day out? Is there do you have an internal motivation? Is it an external motivation? What is it for you that like keeps you doing it?
Yeah, I think I know I need to. I know the research behind it. I know what it does in my body. Like the more you know, the more you're going to do something, right? If you eat something that you know how it's going to affect your body, you're more likely to eat that good food.
Yeah.
It's the same with working out. I know what it's doing for my body. I know it's going to help with longevity, with quality of life, helping me be a better father and husband. But yeah, I feel better. Like I've been through spurts where I eat crap and I don't work out. There's been a couple weeks I haven't worked out, and I feel horrible. It affects your mental health, your mental acuity, your energy levels. You don't sleep as good. Like when you feel that, you don't ever want it to happen again.
Yeah.
So to some degree, that is motivation. But I mean, I show up because I know I need to, and I do at least a little bit. Yeah. You'll see me in there. I'll jump on. I'll hit.
Just do something.
30 pull-ups, and then throughout the day I'll hit some push-ups, and I make sure I get a 30-minute workout here, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I've had to battle. So from an athletic background, so like working out, and then people might like kind of resonate with this.
Wait, you're athletic?
I used to be athletic. But like when it's easy to work out and train when you have like an external goal in mind. Mm-hmm. So like if you're training for a sport, obviously you're working out for that sport, or if you're a runner or you compete in some aspect, it's easy to work out and go to the gym when you have a plan. You're competing, like you're building to something.
Sure.
But most people don't have that in the sense of they're not an athlete, they're not competing in anything, they just need to get in shape for like day-to-day life. So
Yeah.
finding...
And it's not wrong to have something like a Spartan
it
race.
is good.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like most people don't have that. So I think what we deal with and kind of what I've had to deal with in the past couple of years, because once I transitioned out of like bodybuilding, I bodybuilt for a while, so I always had that goal of, okay, I'm getting to this body fat, I'm getting to this point I want to be at. So I was always building towards something. So the workouts were easy to do. It's like, okay, I have this thing that I'm building towards. I need to do this to get to that goal. But I feel like most people don't have. There's nothing externally that is like a stimulus for them.
Yeah.
So, but like helping them find like something just to work towards, and like for me, I had to like transition into more of it just being a lifestyle change rather than you're working towards something external. So like getting people to understand that making it a lifestyle, and that it's something, for me it was just a big mental shift. It went from, okay, I'm working out to do this, to now I'm working out just because I'm supposed to, and I
think both of us were in that. Like, it was more aesthetics early on.
It was aesthetics early on, and then it's transitioned into...
Now we want to feel great, we want to live longer.
It's mental. It's more mental, and it's more just like, it's just so routine at this point.
Yeah.
That, for me, like if I, like, say there's a day I'm supposed to work out, but I got something to do, end up skipping the workout. It's to the point where it feels wrong now.
Right.
Like, not to the fact that it's like, it's gonna crush me, but in my mind, I'm like, I was supposed to work out because it's part of my life now. And if you feel weird.
Yeah,
so
your
like,
schedule's off.
So helping people get to that point of like switching their mind. Like, cause I feel like when people start working out, it's looked at as like an inhibitors. Like it's inhibiting their day. It's something that's added to their day.
Right.
It's
not a priority.
It's
not the last thing on the list.
Yeah.
And it's what I preach to them all the time. Like, honestly, the middle-aged people, the ones that are our age and above, it's easier to deal with on that level. It's the ones that are younger than us that have this whole shift of, you have to feel, again, motivated to come in, but they put all of the urgent matters first. And they're not putting, what your faith, your family, your workouts and health, all of that first, and then everything else comes second. And it's really, I'm trying to push that on my generation below of, hey, you're always going to find a reason not to work out. You're always going to find a reason not to read your Bible or not to be there for your kids or your family. You can put everything else first. And it all seems urgent, and important, but it's not.
No.
I mean, working out, like, what are you going to do if you have an injury in 5 years that you need knee surgery, or your back is injured, which is 70% of the population, right, past 40 years old, or something worse, diabetes, pre-diabetic, number one cause of feet amputation and blindness in the United States, and everything else, which we can get into insulin resistance and how strength training is one of the best things for that too. That's a different podcast, but it's frustrating to hear that working out is always the first thing to go in someone's day.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, we're going to go shopping, we're going to go to Target, we're going to go to Starbucks, I'm going to meet up with a friend and do this, or something for whatever it is that doesn't really matter. But working out's going to be the last thing we're going to do.
Yeah, it's insane. But I think we do a good job with that, of getting clients on board with it's not something that's like an option. It's something that becomes like, it's just part of your life.
Like, hey, this is your schedule.
This is just what you.
This is your time.
This is what you do now.
Make it a priority.
Yeah.
You don't get enough sleep. Show up anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, show up, and then you're going to sleep better that next night.
Yeah. Another thing is that I struggle with. I know clients struggle with. Like, you're not going to feel 100% for every workout. Like, you don't have to feel amazing to go and work out. Like, the more times than not, you just show up and do something, it's going to be better than sitting at home on the couch. Unless you're actually hurt. If you're hurt or your body's actually run down, which you're most likely not, just showing up and doing something, because I used to struggle with that. Like, oh, if I can't give an absolute 110%, then what's the point of doing it?
Right.
Which is not true. 50%, if all you got is 50%, that 50% is going to be better than 0%.
Show up before you're obligated to show up, because you're going to get the people that show up because they have to, and they're injured. Something's going on. The doctor says, hey, you got to do this over the next 2 years or you're going to die.
Yeah.
So show up before you're obligated, and make it a priority. Make it, have some discipline. So
discipline over motivation.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but anyway, all three of these. I mean, I could talk all day about all of these, and again, I had 10 or 12 that I had narrowed down to 3.
I thought we were going to. I cleared my whole schedule. I'm good for a couple hours.
Yeah, right. I could. I'm getting wound up. I think my blood pressure's getting high too. Anyway, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again. Again, we try to keep it casual. We try to talk about things that are important, but have fun with it and decipher, what is true and what's not. Because again, there's so many different dilemmas of the people that are super educated and talking about it, but have never worked with a client in their life.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. I'm not going to name names. I could name probably 5 or 10 right now, but they write books and they do this and that, but they've never worked with one client. And then you get the other ones that, just know nothing and don't do the research and then put all this stuff, clickbait. So that's what we're trying to do differently. But yeah, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching.